Hey champs, welcome back to my channel. Today we start with Islam Makhachev has received a strong warning ahead of any potential fight with Ilia. While many fans want to see Islam versus Ilia, it does not look like that matchup is coming anytime soon, especially with Justin Gaethje holding the interim lightweight title and positioning himself for a fight with Ilia. One fighter who believes Ilia should never fight Islam is Movsar Evloev. Speaking with Submission Radio, Evloev said it would be a stupid move and claimed Ilia would lose everything if he fought Islam. He added that Ilia has the power to compete at lightweight and could knock Gaethje out if he connects, but against Islam, that power would not matter. According to Evloev, Islam is simply too big and on another level. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to next news, Justin Gaethje has officially shut down the idea of a third fight with Dustin Poirier. After UFC 324, there was a lot of noise around Poirier, saying he would be willing to come back for a Gaethje fight. And, for a moment, it looked like the door might actually be open. Things got confusing when Bloody Elbow published an interview where Gaethje was quoted as saying that if Poirier wanted the fight, he would do it. Not long after that, Gaethje came out and called the report fake news, saying his comments were taken out of context. Now, Gaethje has finally addressed the situation clearly in a new interview, and there is no ambiguity left. When Stephen A. Smith asked him directly about the possibility of facing Poirier again in a trilogy, Gaethje gave a flat and immediate answer: no. He made it clear that another fight with Poirier does not interest him at all at this stage of his career. Gaethje explained that the only thing motivating him right now is fighting for the undisputed title. He said that fighting for a championship is the biggest fight in the world for him and for anyone in the division. To Gaethje, there is nothing else that compares to that opportunity, and nothing else really entertains him. He did add one interesting caveat, saying that if the UFC came to him and asked whether he wanted to fight Conor on a White House card instead, that is something he would at least think about. Outside of a massive spectacle like that, his focus is locked in on gold. This stance should not surprise anyone. Gaethje is now 37 years old, and by his own admission, time is not on his side. As we reported earlier, he has said he plans to retire by mid-2027. That means this next run could realistically be his last true chance to capture an undisputed UFC title, which explains why he is unwilling to risk it on a non-title trilogy bout. In the same interview, Gaethje also talked about how a potential fight with Ilia could unfold. He acknowledged how unpredictable the sport is and said he truly believes he can knock Ilia out, even joking about doing it on the White House lawn. At the same time, Gaethje admitted the danger goes both ways, saying Ilia has the power to knock him out as well. All Gaethje wants is the opportunity. A matchup between Gaethje and Ilia feels almost impossible to imagine going the distance. With the power and grand aggression both men bring, it looks like the kind of fight where someone ends up laid out on the canvas, and Gaethje seems fully prepared to bet everything on that moment. Moving on to next news, Sean O'Malley has made it clear that he wants to run things back with Peter Yan. But that may not be what comes next. While Yan reclaimed the bantamweight title by defeating Merab in December, O'Malley has kept his focus on earning another shot. After his recent win over Song Yadong, he once again pointed to Yan as the target. At the same time, O'Malley appears to understand the situation the UFC is working with right now. The promotion is reportedly interested in booking Yan versus Merab for a third time, which would mean O'Malley needs another strong win before jumping back into a title fight. That is where Umar Nurmagomedov enters the picture. A matchup between O'Malley and Umar has quietly been gaining traction behind the scenes and now feels closer than ever. Umar's manager, Rizvan Nurmagomedov, recently spoke about the situation and said that all sides are showing interest in making the fight happen. According to him, they want the fight with O'Malley, and from what he understands, O'Malley is not against it and is not trying to avoid the matchup. While nothing has been officially confirmed yet, with no dates or contracts signed, he believes things are moving in that direction. From a rankings standpoint, the fight makes a lot of sense. Umar is an undefeated and dangerous contender, and O'Malley beating him would be a massive statement. A win like that would make it very difficult to deny O'Malley another title shot, especially with the division as stacked as it is right now. Moving on to next news, Max Holloway is clearly putting extra emphasis on his grappling ahead of his upcoming fight with Charles Oliveira. Recently, footage was released showing Holloway working diligently on his ground game during training. With the matchup set for March 7th, This focus makes a lot of sense. Holloway is preparing to face the fighter with the most submission wins in UFC history, a man known for capitalizing on even the smallest mistakes on the mat. Extra time spent drilling, grappling exchanges, and defensive positions could be crucial. The short clip may not reveal everything, but it shows Holloway taking the challenge seriously and leaving nothing to chance. Moving on to next news, Merab's coach has revealed what he believes will be a major change heading into a potential trilogy fight with Petr Yan. After Yan's impressive and memorable win over Merab in December, many fans have assumed a third fight would look much the same. However, inside Merab's camp, the confidence level remains extremely high that things will play out very differently next time. The loss surprised a lot of people, especially considering Merab dominated Yan in their first meeting back in 2023 and cruised to a decision win. While there is still no official date set for a third fight, the general belief is that the trilogy is inevitable. With that in mind, Merab's coach John Wood recently spoke about the adjustments they plan to make. According to Wood, the outcome of the next fight will not simply be a repeat of the last one. He admitted there were definite adjustments that needed to be made and acknowledged that some things were overlooked during the previous camp. He also pointed out that there were several behind-the-scenes factors leading into the fight that forced the team to do things differently than usual. Wood stressed that those issues are fixable and that Merab will be able to get back on track with only a few key tweaks. One of the biggest changes revolves around approach. Wood explained that the team may have focused too much on chasing finishes and knockouts. Merab has taken criticism in the past for not finishing enough fights, and that pressure may have influenced the game plan. Instead of simply being himself and breaking opponents with pace and pressure, the mindset shifted toward forcing finishes that were not always there. Wood believes Merab is at his best when he just goes out and does what he does naturally. Merab is known as a fighter who follows instructions closely and executes exactly what he is told. Wood made it clear that moving forward, the emphasis will be on letting Merab fight his fight rather than overthinking the outcome. That change alone, in his view, could make a massive difference. In the second fight with Yan, Merab attempted an incredible 29 takedowns, but only managed to secure 2, with Yan successfully defending 27 of them. While the effort and pace were still there, the efficiency was not. With cleaner adjustments, smarter timing, and a return to his natural style, Merab's team believes the trilogy will tell a very different story. Moving on to next news. The conversation around what is next for Islam, Makhachev, is starting to heat up. According to his manager, Rizvan Magomedov, the team is seriously looking at a fight with Kamaru Usman. He said they are currently discussing possible opponents, and Usman is clearly on that list. From their perspective, it is one of the biggest fights that can be made right now. Magomedov added that the final decision will always belong to the organization, but Islam is ready to defend his title whenever he is called. From a media and fan standpoint, a fight between Islam and Usman would be one of the most exciting and watchable matchups available in the division today. Moving on to next news. Dustin Poirier went straight after Conor on social media today and did not hold back at all. The back and forth started when Poirier reposted a clip mocking Conor for trying a karate stance against him, only to get beaten even worse. Poirier added his own caption, saying he beat his bum ass and that it felt so nice he did it twice. That post immediately sparked replies from fans, including one user claiming Poirier only beat Conor once and arguing that the trilogy fight was neck and neck before Conor broke his leg. Poirier shut that down fast, replying that it was definitely not neck and neck and that he was punishing Conor the entire time. The exchanges kept escalating. Another user tried to take a shot by asking where Poirier's belts were. Poirier fired back with a sarcastic reply, saying the user's mother borrowed them and he was waiting to get them back. When someone else claimed the third fight did not count, Poirier responded bluntly, telling them to check Conor's record and his own. The trash talk continued when a fan accused Poirier of turning into a wrestler because he knew he was about to get knocked out. Poirier once again clapped back, pointing out that Conor was the one who actually initiated the grappling exchanges. It was a classic Poirier performance online, sharp, confident, and completely unfazed by the criticism. Moving on to next news. Dana White is facing major backlash as details continue to emerge about the UFC's upcoming White House card. While the event has been promoted as historic and one of a kind, a growing portion of the MMA fan base is not thrilled with what they are hearing. Ever since the card was announced, speculation has been non-stop about which fighters and title bouts might land on the show. Dana has repeatedly said the event will be special, and nearly the entire UFC roster has been campaigning publicly for a spot. There have even been rumors suggesting the card could feature 4 or 5 title fights, which only added to the hype. However, that excitement took a hit after recent comments from TKO CEO Ariel Zev Emanuel. Appearing on the Pat McAfee show, Emanuel shared some early logistical details that immediately caught fans' attention. He explained that attendance at the White House event would likely be limited to around 3,000 to 4,000 people, with additional viewing areas set up nearby. He also stated that Dana is currently working on the event, and that the card is expected to feature approximately 6 to 7 fights, scheduled for June 14. While the attendance numbers aligned with what had been previously rumored, the idea of a card with only 6 or 7 total fights sparked an immediate online backlash. Fans quickly flooded social media with criticism, calling the concept underwhelming and unnecessary. Some complained that a card of that size would mean no prelims at all, while others argued that building such a massive event around so few fights made no sense. Several reactions went even further, suggesting the entire idea should be scrapped altogether. Others pointed out that if the UFC truly stacks the card with title fights, then a shorter lineup might be understandable. Still, there were concerns that loading so many major fights onto one event could negatively impact the rest of the UFC calendar for the year. The shift in expectations, from talk of 6 or 7 title fights to the reality of just 6 or 7 total fights, only added fuel to the criticism. As the discussion continues, opinions remain sharply divided. Some fans believe quality over quantity could still make the event memorable, while others feel the card is shaping up to disappoint, no matter how historic the setting may be. If the final lineup does end up that short, expectations will be sky high for every single matchup to deliver in a big way. Moving on to next news. Rampage Jackson recently raised some eyebrows after claiming that Khabib had blocked him on social media. The comment quickly picked up traction, with fans wondering what could have caused tension between the two. However, as more details came out, the situation started to look less dramatic and more like a simple misunderstanding. During a recent interview, Rampage was asked about his earlier comments and whether Khabib had unblocked him since then. Rampage confirmed that he was still blocked, but his reaction was surprisingly calm. He explained that if he met Khabib in person, he would not even bring it up. According to Rampage, he understands why it might have happened and does not take it personally. Rampage went on to joke about his own online behavior, admitting that he says some wild things on social media. He pointed out that Khabib is very religious and disciplined, and that his own content might not be something Khabib would want to see on his timeline. Because of that, Rampage said he is not mad at all, and even finds it understandable. What confused him more was the fact that he insists he never said anything negative about Khabib before the block allegedly happened. Many fans appreciated how relaxed and self-aware Rampage was about the situation, especially in an era where social media drama often spirals out of control. Things became even more interesting when the story reached Khabib himself. When asked about it, Khabib flatly denied the claim and said he never blocked Rampage in the first place, brushing it off with disbelief. That response opened the door to more speculation, with some suggesting the block could have come from a managed account or a misunderstanding with account access. Regardless of how it happened, it does not appear there is any real bad blood between the two. It feels more like crossed wires than conflict, and eventually, the situation will likely be cleared up face-to-face at an event.